What's up world, my name is Anakin and this is the Pajama Investor. So today we're going to pick off right from where we left off. In the previous video we talked about savings and money allocation and all of that stuff. And I said that the biggest allocation should be your savings, and then the next should be like investment, and then really at the top with the highest risk is trading. So in that breath, let's talk about index funds in relation to cryptocurrencies. And if you've watched my first video on this channel, remember I was talking about Crypto20 and how I felt it was the best option, the very best way in my opinion to invest in cryptocurrencies. So today we're going to look at where Crypto20 stands. The ICO is over. We're going to address a few things. What's happened after the ICO? What have we learned? What is the growth comparison to like other currencies? And how can you invest? All right. So starting off right from the top, let's look at Crypto20, where it's at. Today, Crypto20 sits at $2. The net asset value is about $2.50, thereabout, right? I bought during the ICO, I bought on November 1st of 2017. I bought it at $1.05. This was like the initial coin offering price. I bought it subsequently, at, I think November 30th. When at the bottom of the correction, right, that was happening for the market around that time. I bought it at the bottom of the correction, and let me see if I can spot it right here on, yeah, I think it was right somewhere, November 30th. Yeah, right here. I bought it right there around that, but I bought it about $1.06. So if you average out those two purchases I made, it averages out about $1.55 or $1.06 thereabout. Anyways, right now today the net asset value is $2.05, like $2.50, like I mentioned. And we want to look at like the comparison as to like what has happened, what the growth is. If you look at this number, you can see that from the $1.05 I bought it at, it has grown about 142%, 140% thereabout, right? If you look at Bitcoin has grown from the same date, 30th of November 2017, up to today's current price, you'd see it has grown about 90%, right? Already Crypto20 is winning in that regard. And if you look at Ethereum has grown about 80%, right? Compared to Crypto20's 140%. You see Crypto20 has the best growth so far. You know, the reason why we're getting this much growth is because, like I said, Crypto20 buys the top 20 cryptocurrencies. And if you look here, you can see how they're split. We have Bitcoin all the way down to these are the top 20: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, Litecoin. All of these coins, all of these different currencies are under the fund. So at every single time you buy a single index, a single token, it's diversifying all of this into all of these currencies. Now in the situation where, say, one currency crashes or tanks or you know, whatever happens to that currency, say for instance Ethereum crashes or Bitcoin crashes, the rest of the fund would kind of absorb that impact and you wouldn't feel it as much. If you'd put in $1,000 on the 30th into Bitcoin, you would have gotten what, 100? You have gotten maybe like another $1,000, like $900 thereabout. It's grown 90%, right? It's grown 90%. So yeah, you'd have made $900, and Ethereum, you'd have made about $800 more. But if you'd put $1,000 at that same time into Crypto20, you'd have made what? About $1,400 more. Okay, now the question does become like, now that the ICO is over, how do I become part of this? How do I partake in this? How do I invest? I think the word is mid-January. Crypto20 is going to be put on the exchanges, and at that point you could invest into Crypto20. If you're trying to buy Bitcoin, right? To buy Bitcoin, to use Bitcoin, or buy Ethereum to use Ethereum, that's a different conversation. However, if you're buying either of these currencies or any of these other currencies to hold it, to benefit from the capital growth, then my advice would be to buy Crypto20. So if you're trying to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin or $10,000 worth of Bitcoin or entire Bitcoin at whatever price it is. Today Bitcoin is at let's see, $18,000 US. If you're trying to buy entire amount, my advice would be to put it into Crypto20. because it would have a significantly better outcome over the long run. And I want you to remember this. Like I've always said, you should think about this as a long-term strategy. You should think about this as a new investment for your retirement fund. It's a long-term play, people. This is a long-term play. You know, there's something about index funds that people don't really know about, and that's compounding interest. If you held Bitcoin, just Bitcoin, it would grow in value, and yes, you'd make money, but you don't put into account the compounding that comes with an index fund. So let's look at this real quick. Let's say we have simple interest. This is a simple interest calculator. So let me use like really little arbitrary numbers just to kind of give you an example of what exactly I'm talking about. Now for simple interest, right? Let's say you had $1,000, right? And the percentage growth was about 10%, right? And it was once a year. After 10 years, what do we have, right? It would have about, the interest would be about $1,000. If you look at those same numbers this is compound interest calculator right now. If you looked at those same numbers, $1,000, right? 10% growth once a year, even though that's not actually once a year for 10 years. We would have an interest of $1,500. Which is a lot more. See the comparison? You'd always make a lot more in an interest in an index fund with compounding interest. I remember it's a long-term play. And then the final thing I wanted to address is people often ask me, okay, how do I invest? And it's very simple. All you have to do is come on the website, you log in, right? You create an account, and you get verified. You link your wallet, you send over the amount of either Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin that you're trying to invest. And this is a thing I want to say. Let's try to do this monthly. People always have this misconception of you have to come in with a big amount for it to be worthwhile, but not accounting for the compounding effect. I wish I could show you a chart of index funds over the years, over 10 years, 40 years, right? When you retire. My point is you don't have to come with a huge amount of money. You just have to commit to the investment. You have to commit to a monthly investment. $300 a month, $100 a month. Besides, like, cryptocurrencies are growing so quickly and so rapidly. This is not 10% growth per year. This is 1,000% growth, 100% growth in a month. You know what I mean? Like, the potential for this is enormous, people. And I just wanted to like come back here and just give you guys my honest 2 cents and like tell you this is where you should be. I'm gonna make a new video right now to talk about what ICOs to look for, what individual currencies, like for instance Ripple. I really believe in Ripple. This is one of the currencies I think you should look into. Right now it's 77 cents. But the first thing to do in terms of cryptocurrency investment is to buy Crypto20, invest in this index fund. And like always, my name is Anakin, and this is the Pajama Investor. I hope you learned something. I hope this was of some sort of value to you. Like, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And yeah, come back for some more videos. Like, I'm gonna try to put out these videos as quickly as possible and as often as possible. But yeah, thank you.